things we have to talk about too.
Really?
About yesterday.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I feel like something needs to be said.
Very important things.
Something needs to be said to the internet about yesterday that I need to get off my chest. I didn't say it to you then, but I feel like I need to say it to you now. So for those of you who are not aware, yesterday, Dodger and I went and learned to make ramen from scratch.
We did an all-day cooking class. It started at 10 and it ended at 4.
It was amazing.
It was so good.
It was super fun, but I learned a lesson. Just because you are of Asian descent does not mean you will be good at making Japanese food.
Okay.
That's what I learned. Dodger and I, two whitest people in the room,
That's true.
killed it. We did the work for everyone else. They couldn't make dough to make the noodles.
We literally...
She and I had to do all the work. We did all... The Yoko, the woman running the class, was like all up on our butts about how good we were doing.
She was so
like, do
cute,
this and do
too.
this.
She was so sweet. But yeah, like, we finished our dough so fast, and everybody else, it took them, like, over an hour longer than us, to the point where
it was
Jesse and I just took, there was this one team left that, we just took it and did their dough for them. Because we were like, oh my god, this is taking forever.
We basically made that ramen yesterday.
Yeah.
Except for the meat, which they, like, pre-made.
Mm-hmm.
They pre-boiled all the bones and
Look,
stuff.
we tied the smallest piece of meat together, to be fair.
We did everything there was to do, we did. And I felt, here's also what I learned. I might have been the only guy there actually doing work.
Mm-hmm.
Every man who was there.
That was the other thing that I wanted to say.
Every man who was there. I would make, look, I'm just saying, I would make an excellent husbando. Because every man who was there was like, you can do that. And just watched as his, like, girlfriend or whatever was just mashing stuff. Or doing all, I was like...
It was very obvious there were two... Because, like, most people signed up in groups of 2. So Jesse and I signed up together. But most of them were, like, significant others, right? And you could tell, for the most part, it was ladies who signed up with their man-significant others. Mm-hmm. And... the dudes literally would just stand there, like, hands behind their back, or just sit and watch their girlfriend do all of it. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, the kneading. Okay, so apparently the traditional way to make ramen noodles, like the dough,
is literally
you step on it.
12 hours of work. I've never...
The noodles take forever.
Experienced so much work put into a noodle in my life. Holy moly. Like, the traditional way is you knead the dough repeatedly. So I had to go around to everyone's bowl, because apparently that's impossible for these people to do, and just knead their... And they're like, oh, look how he's doing it. Like a fucking human being needs dough? They were looking at me like I was some chef extraordinaire. I was like, I've baked once or twice in my life, right? And so I'm just sitting there mashing this dough, and they're like, okay, now I need to stand on it.
Yeah, and then you step on it until it's flat, and then you pick it up, you pull it out of the bag, and then you sort of like fold it up into what's called the flower shape to make it a circle again, and then you step on it again and fold it up and step on it again. And Jesse and I were like a machine. Right?
We had a system down. It was like fold, step, fold. Like, we were doing it. We were doing it. And everyone else was like, ours broke again. And we're like, oh my god.
But, like, on the topic of the dudes just not doing anything in that class, it was so weird because she specifically was like, all right, whoever is, like, the heavier person of the team should be the one who's stepping.
I was like, I was born for this job, and I jumped, and I was just stepping on dough all day.
Yeah, it was great.
That was me.
And then there would be, like, tiny little girls with huge dudes with them, and they would just sit and watch the girls step on the dough, and I was like, what are you doing?
Eventually,
that's probably a fetish in some places.
It was so weird.
Eventually, they all caught on that I was, like, the only guy in the room doing work, and then they all stepped up at the end. It was, like, the end.
Yeah.
And I was like, y'all's breaking my balls. You're breaking my balls. So when we sat down to eat that, I think we were the two, like, most worn out people in the room that we were just like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah, there was one older lady who was like, you know what I figured we'd all need is a nice cold beer with this ramen. And we were like, we'll take one of those, thank you.
Everyone else like sipping their water, and we're like, nope, beer.
Yep. Beer and so much chili oil in that ramen. We made the chili oil from scratch.
Everything.
We made black
Everything
garlic
was
oil
from
from scratch. Everything was from scratch. It was so good.
It was delicious. And then we found out this woman does Asian, like,
she does
Japanese
tours in Japan.
And one next October is just all sake and whiskey factories.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to go with you.
Oh, let's sign up.
So you learned how to make ramen from scratch, but I know that you did not learn how to make a crunchy roll from scratch.
No.
What?